At PCI, we work with fiduciary committees from companies of all shapes and sizes. But fees are one of those things that tend to be a major concern for all of them. This is completely understandable concerning how often excessive fees have come up in 401k lawsuits over the past few years. When we discuss how to better prepare employees for retirement, fees are definitely a big consideration. The goal is to make sure that a client's investment lineup is outperforming, but that fees paid by their plan are not. Those we want to keep as low as possible.
One of the problems that a lot of clients face is figuring out exactly how to benchmark their plan's costs. We all know that ERISA dictates that plan fees need to be kept to a reasonable standard. But what exactly is that standard? Without a basis for comparison, terms like reasonable can be very subjective. That's why we've developed a full fee assessment that gives each of our clients a far more transparent view of how their plan costs stack up.
A common mistake that we see a lot of committees make is only benchmarking the fees they're paying their record keeper because that tends to be one of their largest expenses. But it's incredibly important that you don't stop there. In order to get the big picture, we need to take into account every single fee that your participants are covering. That includes the cost of your advisor, your auditor, your ERISA attorney, any and every expense that comes out of the plan's assets.
The only exceptions are fees that are covered by your plan sponsor, which is usually your employer. A lot of fiduciaries will say, wait, there's a possibility my employer might chip in with fees? And we say, sure, sometimes they will if you ask them. We've noticed that a lot of committees have never tried this tactic because they've never realized it was a possibility. But a surprising number of companies actually will cover fees or at least help with them. So, it never hurts to ask, because that's one way that you can cut down on costs to your participants really quickly.
If your employer does agree to chip in, then we can subtract any cost they agree to cover from your plan's annual expenses. But we do offer to help our clients ensure that any fees their employers agree to pay are reasonable. While that's not necessarily a fiduciary obligation for the employer, we do believe that it's the right thing to do. We figure that if an employer is kind enough to help with the expenses, then the least we can do is have their back when it comes to making sure they're getting a solid rate.
When we conduct a plan fee assessment, our goal is to make sure that every client's fees are at the minimum in the lowest 50th percentile for plans of a similar size, and we drive to get them in the lowest 25th percentile. To do that, we add up all the fees that come out of the plan's assets each year and then divide the total dollar amount by the size of the plan itself. So, for instance, say that your company has a retirement plan worth $70 million and that we discovered that all of your annual fees add up to a total of $175,000. We'll divide $70 million by $175,000 and then multiply it by 100 to find that 0.25% of your assets are going to plan costs every year. If the 50th percentile benchmark for plans of similar size is 0.28%, then we'll know your plan is in good shape.
Should the results turn out to be less flattering, then we're happy to help with that too. We will work to get the fees lowered. We also keep you updated on your plan's fee performance without subjecting you to a single confusing 100-page report. We're all about keeping it simple. That's why we format our reports in a transparent, straightforward way that anyone can understand.
A little math can go a long way towards giving your committee the confidence that your company's plan is on top of its game. Ready to find out how your plan fees are actually performing? Click here to contact us today, and we'll be happy to conduct a fee performance assessment of your plan for free.